Cheers, Craig.
Fast forward 32 years, West End girl. It's their fault.
Wall at some point or other. I still haven't heard a Charlatans album, so the picture's still up on the wall, but no, then
Sorry, what's the question?
the anniversary is only 30 seconds, so 32nd anniversary, never mind.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, so when we got, we ended up going to the United States after that for a good couple of months. But in the meantime, we were getting stuff together for a new record. We felt it was the right time to bring it all together, and people were mentioned because we wanted a producer to come in, and Dev and Fred were mentioned, and the best in the price range. So it was
A bog off.
yeah, we did. We
Two for one.
Yeah, we did get a couple of bug offs. But
really, because after God knows how many years of recording and demos and writing and stuff like that, you know, I probably pinned up too much hope that something brilliant was going to happen. And so we came away with about 5 songs, and it really wasn't good enough. It didn't feel good enough. So then we'd already booked the next session. So I think it was just about getting a bit more hard work, you know, getting knuckled down a bit and do a little bit more research on whose songs we could pinch.
But you went back to your farm in Ireland, you
Yes.
cuddled some cows, you went into your studio.
His wife you're talking about.
Wives plural. Went into your studio and started work on the song that became Kingdom of Ours.
That's right, yeah. I got home and I just started to watch a bit of telly actually, and do you know Breakfast?
Unpacking that a wee bit for us, maybe with reference to Rockfield, because as Martin said, you had gone back there just after COVID to work on a solo album, but you hadn't been there since Telling Stories, since the loss of Rob. That was a big move, I imagine, mentally and artistically and just personally for all of you to congregate there. But how does that and psychogeography feed into the finished record?
Well, the first meeting with Fred and Dev, hauntology and psychogeography was mentioned then, and it kind of like was very intriguing, but I don't think it actually made sense until we went to Rockfield, if you know what I mean, because of the history of the band and Rockfield, and Fred and Dev were there, you know, the session that we did there. That's when it really made sense to me about all that. It was kind of like we were. So, like, presenting the past in the present.
And it felt like that was a bit of our job to be there as witnesses, to kind of witness this historic band in a historic place for them that doesn't just have great meaning culturally across the board, but for them has such a specific light and dark energy associated with some of their biggest highs and biggest lows. And I think, you know, we probably mentioned hauntology and psychogeography because we're both slightly pretentious and like to use long words that we don't really understand, but it then actually took on a greater meaning, and actually, like, not to get too heavy, one of the days we were at the studio there was quite a heavy atmosphere and we didn't really know why, and we realised later in the day we were there on the anniversary of Rob's death, which is obviously, as two outsiders, is a huge thing to enter into when we'd only all just met a few weeks before, and it was quite a kind of, we were like, oh, did they?
It was crazy, right? Because we really were. I mean, you guys don't even know this, but we were talking to each other all day, saying, why does it feel so strange today? What is happening here? What's this mood? And fighting through it, you know, because we're unsure, and it's also a little scary when you feel these energies, but in a way it was, when we did eventually find out like what the day was, it's this, and I think it kind of fits into what we're talking about in a way where how can you accept what's happening and the hauntology of it all, but also still kind of persevere and push through and try and find yourself and make something new. And that's kind of how I felt working with everyone in the whole process.
If anyone hasn't seen the BBC documentary about Rockfield that came out in COVID, that is a sensational watch, and you realise what a history that studio has, but also what a ramshackle rundown farm it is, run by two nutter brothers on tractors. And some of the greatest records in British music history have come out of that place. And it's particularly totemic to these guys because of A, the magic music they made there, but B, the crushing loss they experienced there just as things are about to take off. Three weeks before you made Nebworth worth going to. So thanks for that. Martin, how difficult was it for you to go back to Rockfield?
Not at all. Do you forget the Soul Sounds? The first time we've gone back with John Brooks, but it just felt really right, and without getting too, the spirits were there with us. I found it quite really good to go back. I mean, Amanda and Lisa
and
Ward, the daughters of Kingsley Ward. I mean,
and Kingsley,
and his good wife Anne. It was good going back there, and even the bed sheets were still there from 1995.
I think because it'd been, the last time we were there was 96. Going back now was all right. Maybe if it had been a few years earlier, we'd have felt weird about it. But water under the bridge, bath water under the bridge, as you, Tim. But it felt like the time was right to go then, on this record.
That idea, Tim, of embracing the band's heritage and everything you've achieved is there in what you call to me upcycling of some lyrics and kind of musical motifs from previous records. How did that idea come to you? Was it spurred by the Rockfield of it all?
I think I just wanted to join in with the kind of hauntology thing a little bit more, really. It's kind of like that was my contribution, which was like very bass level. Using the word opportunity, it's like almost like so what, but impossible. All right, what's he doing here? How high? All right, I get it.
I think these are some of your best lyrics, honestly.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Well,
yeah, I really do.
Yeah, I do too. But thanks. Yeah.
And also,
heavily edited by Fred.
We were listening to a lot of Charlatans while we were making it. We didn't want to make something that sounded retro, but these guys all have so much personality as players and are so kind of iconic individually as well as together. And I feel like on the last two albums are great listens, but they're kind of like warm and electronic and are quite nice, but it felt like we needed to be less safe than that. We need to go slightly back out the comfort zone and say, what is the sound of these people? What do they sound like? And actually, Dev was pushing to have even less production on there than is on there. I kept on being like, oh, when are you going to do your thing? And he was like, no, it should just sound like this. And I was like, maybe a bit more. like he was putting forward the idea of like, should this just be the sound of these people in the room, which maybe would have been bolder, maybe too. I don't know. I think we end up in a good balance, but we didn't want to do too much. And I think a lot of the production that retains is a kind of the ghost production of stuff that we tried and then took away. So we put a lot of things on there, removed a lot of things, tried other things, and what's left is the kind of the remaining ideas that worked and augmented what people were already doing, but hopefully for the most part didn't replace or take over or get in the way of the individuals.
Immediately, we all thought we should book the studio and get in next week for this one.
Yeah, it was a 4-minute song written in 2 minutes. Yeah. I called the best one.
And all the parts of it are there from the original demo. So the parts are in.
That's the original demo. That's
we should give Thibault Sandra a name check.
Yeah, we should do.
Yeah, so Thibault Sandra, for any of you who don't know, was Julian Cope's right-hand man for a long time. You've worked with him, Tim, on some of your solo records.
Coil and who else? Spiritualized. Yeah.
And now
Hawkwind.
Yeah. So he's
also a bit of a Britpop fact for any Britpop fans in the crowd. Obviously Pete Salisbury, who we also need to give a shout out, who was as soon as we heard him at Big Mushroom, who's now drums in the band live and on record, such a powerhouse, known from Richard Ashcroft and The Verve.
Yeah.
And one of the last times he'd seen Thibault Sandra before this was, I think, in the 90s when there was a bit of a face-off between Spiritualized and The Verve because of their famous love for the same...
Hate.
Yeah, exactly, who inspired both albums, Ladies and Gentlemen of Floating in Space and Bittersweet Symphony. So they were reminiscing about how they'd have to like go out the back ways of hotels to avoid having like royal rumbles at Japanese festivals and whatnot.
Tony, you know, you've got these two producers here, you've got Craig Sylvie as well, you've got Thai Paul Sandra. As the guys who are writing the songs, how did you...
You know, many hands make light work. You know, and it was nice to...
Too many cooks spoil the broth.
He cooks, well, yeah. Right, it was really nice to let go of the baby, if you like, do you know what I mean, and let somebody else look after it. It was really handy. You knew it was in good hands because every time it'd come back, it'd get better and better.
And that's where we found social service.
And then, you know, the demo we did with Typo Sander was great, but we knew it had to go somewhere. You know, and if it was left to the four of us, you know what I mean, it'd be tossed around and tossed and turned, I don't know how many times,
Yep.
and we'd never agree. There's no way we'd agree. And when the guys got on it, you know what I mean, it was just about, you probably tried loads of stuff like you said and pulled them back and pushed it through, do you know what I mean? I think it was just definitely the right decision.
No, it's great that you could spot that there was something special about some of the demos that we were doing, and I think we used a lot of demo stuff, didn't we, on lots of tracks, and that's that you guys actually realising that was because we would have probably ballsed it up, you know.
Yeah, initially before we went for Dev and Fred, because didn't realise Dev was quite busy, waiting for months. We did some recording.
Didn't know he was bringing me either.
Yeah.
Surprise.
We did some recording with Stephen Street down in studio down in Suffolk for a week, which went really well. And one of the tracks he recorded with him, we used that on the album he's recording, which was "You Can't Push the River." There was a little bits of that when these two gentlemen came on board. We used little bits of what he'd recorded as well, and give it a spin.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Government of all the talents. Tim, could you tell us about the first time you saw Dev, probably 500 yards from here, in another boozer?
I did. So I walked upstairs at the Old Blue last, and there's two people on stage. Both I didn't know, really. I don't think I knew at all. But one was Dev, and I think he was playing guitar and then swapping instruments and playing drums. And the other person was Florence. So it's like
No Machine, just Florence.
I think it might have been Florence and the Machine. I don't know what it was called.
Kind of what I was Machine at the time.
Machine.
So is that your second name then?
It was
It's Dev
Amber.
Machine.
That's the full name is Dev.
Oh, I thought that was your second name. Sorry. Saw that on your passport. Dev.
And I just thought
Dev
it was
Machine.
great and mesmerising, and I'm not sure whether me and Dev actually spoke that night, but I certainly spoke to Florence a lot, and yeah, it was. I feel, I mean, to me, that was as important as seeing Bingo Handjob.
That was the REM secret gig at the Borderline for anyone.
It was REM at the Borderline for Out of Time. It was like 250 people were there. I think there was maybe about 100 people at the Old Blue last, you know, and you were
probably less.
yeah,
Honestly.
maybe less, and I guess you were just figuring it out. But it was an amazing thing to have seen.
And then fast forward a few years, Dev, you and the Charlatans were on the same bill at a festival in New Zealand, I believe it was.
Wow, I wasn't prompted about any of this.
That happened. You were there. Do you remember that meeting?
I don't.
Okay. Schedule. I'm not saying you're not busy, Fred. But made you want to devote some time in your very, very busy schedule to come back to the UK and get stuck in.
I mean, to me, it was a yes from the beginning. I mean, you know, it's kind of a similar thing to what Fred was saying in a way, but with me, with making music in general, I'm always thinking about posters I put on the wall when I was younger, because I think that's just I think that's the basis of where all music comes from for me. It's either, you know, you want to like be them, or you want to be next to them, or you want to sound like them, and I still kind of live in that place, and I'm making things from that place, and then one of those bands then says they want to work with me. It's a shock, and so it was a yes straight away. And then I'm quite I'm quite self-aware about also some of my tastes and where I like to take things, and that was kind of part of the whole thing too with Fred. I mean, we've known each other for a very, very, very long time, and I immediately thought about Fred coming in because, I mean, as Fred alluded to earlier, there are moments maybe where I would want to push things to a place, but if I'm honest with myself, it probably wouldn't service the music. And when you have someone who's like your best friend who, your taste has somewhat of a Venn diagram where you do meet, but also Fred's very good at, I don't know how to really articulate it, but well, first of all, he understands bands in a very, very pure way, and I think also kind of can listen to things as a fan that wants to enjoy things, I guess, I put it simply. And so I thought this would be such and we never worked together, which is kind of like a crazy thing, at least not in such a long form project. So all of these things were very exciting to me to delve into, and dig in with Fred and with the band, and then the songs were really, really so fucking good. So yeah.
It's also on he had very little something that we were going to do at the end of the Rockfield session, but we ran out of time, and then we were at Baltic, and we were running out of time again, and there was 9 minutes to go, because at Rockfield there was no minutes to go when to put it down.
Yeah, Fred said we've got 9 minutes. What are we going to do? Jokingly, and
so yeah, Tim put down the acoustic guitar and sang live, and that was it. Then you were in the room, weren't you, Tony?
I think we were given how long?
So that's 2 minutes.
2 minutes each,
so
wasn't it?
7 minutes left.
Or I think I got 30 seconds. But we all had a time to put something down, didn't we?
Collector magazine seemed to disagree, but that's on them. And that was one of those magical moments where everyone got one take. Yeah, Martin came up with that boom, 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 like live. Each idea that you hear was someone coming up with it off the top of their head. And again, a bit like using the demo stems of We Are Love rather than the re-recorded, refined ones. It was about capturing this kind of, dare I say it, youthful naivety that I think the band hasn't had a chance to capture in a long time, because they've been through so much and been doing so much at a place where when you get to your 13th, 14th album, no one makes good albums at that point, even David Bowie. So it's like
Black Star?
Yeah.
Two before that.
Yeah, but he had about 10 good years before that. He had 1 decade before that.
I hear that sense of playfulness, Tony, they're on a track like For the Girls, where you're all singing, including these guys as well. How was that day in the studio when you're all chipping in with vocals, all harmonising together?
Oh, yeah. I can't really remember, to be honest with you. But yeah, we just went up there and absolutely banged out harmonies all together. Yeah. It was great fun. Yeah. Good to do. There you go. I can't answer any more than that because I can't remember.
Tim, I want to ask you about Glad You Grabbed Me.
Honest to God.
Let's talk about Glad You Grabbed Me. A few things to talk about here. Do you remember taking acid in Cambridge, then
Yes.
taking umbrage in Detroit?
oh yeah.
Fantastic.
People say he's a bad lyricist.
Now, that was written on a long bus ride across America when the rest of the band were flying business class in a private jet, right?
Of course.
Of course. Do you find the motion of touring in that old-fashioned way is useful to you as a writer in terms of coming up with lyrical ideas and melodic ideas?
I mean, it's a moment on tour to get some time to yourself. Mark, he just doesn't like to stay around. He likes to get on a plane and go to the hotel, spend his day off in a hotel.
Well, no, I've already arranged with Pete to meet him in a pool hall for a day off, because we've got a worldwide competition that's been going on for like the last 15 years. And I'm beating him at the moment.
Yeah. So for that reason as well. But I always like to do this 2.5 day journey, which is generally Minneapolis to Seattle, So I like to do that. Came up with a lot of Glad You Grabbed Me, and it was with We Are Love, one of the first demos that we actually all kind of agreed on. But it, when Fred and Dev got involved, it slowly but surely and over time really changed. So it was sped up, and then like new percussion and drums were added. I think Pete did his drums again. Pete was really involved actually, because he was on the bus with me and was playing drums on the bus.
I mean, you might think
Which is
from
quite
listening
good.
to the lyrics that it's about a great lost love, but it is about a love, but not a lost one. This is what Tim said to me. I see it as a me and Martin thing, really. We both want different things. We both think differently. We're both two sides of the coin. But I'm really kind of glad that he grabbed me and took me on this experience for 35 years.
That I could have been took to an industrial tribunal for that, but nothing. That's news to me. I've never been inappropriately grabbed by Timothy.
How does that make you feel when you know that song is his
I know.
ode to your friendship?
I think it is. By the way, I have never taken acid in Cambridge. Maybe.
Bridge in Detroit.
No, MDMA, actually in Detroit. But Tim couldn't fit that into the lyric. But cheers, Tim. After all these years, I've got a song that.
Yeah. I mean,
It does speak to that part. What actually happened?
Yes, he came to my apartment and recorded saxophone.
he's the legend.
He didn't play it.
No, he did. No, you know what? That's one of my favorite parts in the album. Actually,
Yeah, it's
I really,
amazing.
and I know you were fighting for that.
Well, yeah. I mean, Tony gladly gave up probably a Hammond solo or a keyboard solo, and Peter, he's been a friend of mine for ages, and we did a record together, and I think he did an arrangement for something on Modern Nature, and it just didn't quite work. But he always comes to the gigs, and the last couple of times we were in New York, he was always in the dressing room, and sort of an amazing character. Played on all of Arthur Russell's records, loads of Lou Reed. Best friends with I don't know, all the kind of like New York noise kind of guys, and Blue Jean and Laurie Anderson, and it just felt we needed a little bit of New York, and I guess
He sent about 20 different solos, and Dev was like, I'll do an edit. And he went to the kitchen and came back about 2 minutes later and was like, I've done it. Airdropped it on. I was like, is that just all of them at the same time?
but it was like Fripp
heard it
and
before the edit.
and Heroes, the three guitar solos that Robert Fripp did.
Yeah, well, that song to me always had a bit of a Thin White Duke feeling to it. So
Great.
I like that strut that it had. So
And the same as the guitar was, Dev did a guitar track in a couple of takes to be like, let's play something to play to Mark to see if it inspires him to do something, because we were talking about Bowie, let's try something like this.
Yeah.
And then so Mark comes in and here's what Dev's just done in one take, and we're like, oh, we think you could do something like this. And he was like, just leave that on. And that was again one of those moments where what you're hearing is someone playing along to the song for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think it takes a kind of real talent to know when they don't need to put themselves on something for it to still be, great as well.
It's all encompassing.
Yeah, Dev.
Oh, I'm in this.
Yeah, all of you. What is love to you?
Oh my God, Jesus! Comfort.
Comfort. Tim?
The universe.
Fred?
It's what this band share but never tell each other enough.
Oh. Mark? Family. Family.
Oh, you robbed me. My family, yeah, family.
Family. And cows.
And
A dysfunctional
everything woolly
family.
as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so questions from the floor. There's no microphones, so you're going to have to shout, but you have to preface...
Public, but not in a good way. And so we're back at Big Mushroom. about 8 weeks later with another second session, and Tim was playing through. And I said, where did you get your inspiration from that track? And it was Rock and Roll by the Velvet Underground. And I said, why don't we try and play it in that feel? And it worked.
A tough subject, and it's the ups, the downs, the turnarounds of love. But I think it's done. To me, it started to click when Fred and Dev speeded it up, and we kind of like. I mean, it is rock and roll. It's similar beat, you know, and I used the lyric, but it was. I think it was. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea of it being blues. Northern Soul records use the word heartache a lot, and yeah, make really stomping, uplifting records. So it has a Northern Soul thing, which I guess is
When it started out like that, we weren't really capturing the song, and it did.
It took much to
clumsy and
capture it, yeah.
a bit, you know.
But that's one of your favourites, that one, Dev, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we went to the rehearsal space before we started, and all of you were playing through the songs, which was a crazy experience to take the train up with Fred, and you're in the Charlatans rehearsal studio, and they're playing new songs, and you're just sitting in the middle, and they're all around you, and that was one of the ones I remember afterwards when we left. We were like, yeah, this is it.
Good question, sir. Thank you.
It's kind of. I'm not actually going to say it's kind of boring, but it's just boring for me. Without Fred and without Dev tweaking a few things at the end, you know, it wouldn't have been the same album. But I felt that it was kind of finished about a month before we actually mastered it. And you only get to that point by thinking, this is the best that we can do. This is brilliant, it feels great, and it's also the best that we can do. And then after that, it's kind of like, it's down to people that, you know, maybe put it out, review it. It's subjective, right? But when we let go of it, we feel that it's done.
And also, no one knows when an album comes out if it's actually good. We'll know in 20 years.
Because when it actually does come out, yeah, it's not. I don't know. It's a different feel. It's a different feeling. It's more like relief in a way.
Well, they've done their hard work. Now you have to do your work. If you buy enough copies tonight, you might beat Lily, Sabrina, Taylor, whatever.
And then you'll wake up.
Then you wake up. So yeah, they are going to be signing albums at the front in a second. Thank you very much for your patience and forbearance and standing up for.
Thank you to Craig as well.